Hey there, this is James Carbary, founder of Sweetfish Media and one of the co-hosts of this show. For the last year and a half, I've been working on my very first book. In it, I share the three-part framework we've used as the foundation for our growth here at Sweetfish. Now, there are lots of companies that have raised a bunch of money and have grown insanely fast. We've talked to a lot of them on the show. We've decided to bootstrap our business, which usually equates to really slow growth. But using the strategy outlined in the book, we're on pace to be one of Inc.'s fastest growing companies in 2020. The book is called Content-Based Networking: How to Instantly Connect with Anyone You Want to Know. And I'm thrilled to tell you that the book has officially launched. If you're a fan of audiobooks like me, you can find the book on Audible. Or if you like physical books, you can find it on Amazon. Just search Content-Based Networking or James Carbary, that's C-A-R-B-A-R-Y, in Audible or Amazon, and it should pop right up. If you're listening to this between January 7th and January 10th, you can snag the Kindle version of the book for just 99 cents. All right, let's get into the show.
Welcome back to B2B Growth. I'm Logan Lyles with Sweetfish Media. Today is another episode in our Behind the Curtain series, and a special one. We're talking about the launch of James's new book, Content-Based Networking, and hoping to not only just, talk about the launch because we're excited, but give you some strategic, some tactical thoughts on some things we did differently in launching and promoting the book in the first couple of weeks. As always, in the Behind the Curtain series, I've got with me my buddy, founder and CEO of Sweetfish, James Carbary, and now the author of Content-Based Networking. James, how's it going, man?
That feels super weird. I started putting it in my email signature and I'm just like, man, this feels weird. But yeah, man, we're super pumped. I'm super pumped about the launch of the book. This has been a year and a half long process, and as rewarding as it's already shaping up to be, it was a grind. And so I'm super pumped to be launching this, and wanted to share some things that I'm learning just as I've gone through the book launch process. Several weeks leading up to it. There are different things that you're doing and thinking about leading up to it so that you can, optimize for that launch and hopefully, hit some bestseller lists. And so yeah, I'm pumped about this one.
Yeah, man. So as you started to think through, as I've known you over the years, man, I know that you put a lot of thought into things. And, one of the things that was in your head is, okay, we're launching a book. What do most people do? Tell me a little bit about kind of the things that popped into your head of, okay, what could we do a little bit differently? Or, this is what most people do. And then we're going to get into some different things that you decided to do with this.
Yeah. So I see, I get a lot of emails. This year, for whatever reason, I've been actually mentioned in a lot of books. And so I'm getting these emails letting me know when books are going live, when they're available. Can you buy one? Can you leave a review in Amazon? Which, for whatever reason, Amazon does not make it easy to leave a review. Yeah. So it's a painful process. So, I was like, if I'm honest, when I get these emails from people that are like, hey, can you leave an Amazon review? One, it's usually from someone. Now, if I've been mentioned in the book, I know them a little bit better. I'm probably actually good friends with them if they've mentioned me in the book. But I get a lot of emails that I'm just like, I don't know you. Like, you clearly sent this to 4,000 people. Like, no, I'm not buying your book. And no, I'm not leaving you an Amazon review. And so I thought about that because we've got, a list of 4,000 or so folks on our email list. And I was like, how can I communicate the launch to, a large group of our audience? I don't have time to send 4,000 individual emails or text messages, but how can I send it in a way that's fun and gets their attention and doesn't scream, my book is launching? Because I think that's really the fastest way to get your email deleted. And so instead, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be honest and vulnerable about what the process of writing a book was like, because it was a grind. And so in the email, the subject line of the email is punching a raccoon ? Which instantly is going to make somebody want to open that email. Like,
your
what the heck
subject
is
line writing, man, is epic.
It's just reverse engineering the result you want. You want somebody to pay attention. They've got a crap ton of emails in their inbox.
Not
put an
many
email
about
in there
raccoons.
yeah, like there's no email that's going to be in anybody's inbox that says punching a raccoon question mark. And so I basically talk about the story of writing it, how it's been really hard. There were points, where I wanted to punch a raccoon, and I even kind of like raccoons. And so by reverse engineering what I want, which is people to pay attention to the email and to actually help me out, one, I need to build a little bit of story. And I need to not just say, hey, the book's live, you should go check it out. But instead, share the story and the process of what it was like to get a book to where I can send an email like I can today. And so the messaging and the copy for the email is very, very different. I'm sending another email later in the week where I'm basically just letting know, hey, the book is no longer 99 cents starting tomorrow. So this is your last chance to buy it. And again, try to inject some humor, some personality into that email. The other thing that I did a lot of thinking about was, hand-to-hand combat. I said earlier, I can't text message 4,000 people, but I probably could text message 200 or 300 people. And so if I'm thinking through who are the people that I am going to text message on the day of that the book goes live, and then when I need them to leave a review, 2 or 3 days later. And so I was thinking about how that message would look. And I thought, what if instead of having the call to action for them be buying the book, what if instead it said, hey, we can buy the book or not. I hope you would want to. But what would really be actually more helpful is books actually grow by word of mouth. You buy a book because somebody told you to buy a book. And so if you could tell 3 people that you think are interested in growing their business or growing their career about this book, you don't even have to, I'm not asking you to lie to them and say that you read it if you haven't, but just tell them about it. Like, hey, this is my buddy James. He wrote a book. Think you'd really be into it. It's about, reverse engineering your network. And so by asking them to share it with 3 people, if I send text messages to 200 people, and let's say half of those, let's say 100 people tell at least 3 friends, well, I just magnified the reach of the book in a significant way just by changing the call to action a little bit in the personalized message that I send to people. Now, I've got some friends that are like, oh, James, I'm going to tell way more than 3 people about it. I've got like 50 people that I'm going to tell about this book. So those are obviously outliers, and you can't count on that from everybody. But there's just a couple ideas there. The thinking about how you're going to email, what that messaging in the email needs to be, as well as thinking about what you're going to do from a hand-to-hand combat standpoint and what your strategy is there. By me asking for kind of 3 referrals, so to speak, as opposed to just a book purchase, I'm potentially tripling book sales.
And not just telling people, tell a friend, give them a number.
Yep.
3
Exactly.
is a very strategic one, right?
Yep.
Because now they start thinking, who are those 3? It's like if you ask someone, name a song, they stand there forever. And they're like, then if you're like, name your favorite rap song, your favorite 90s country song. I'm going to go 2 different directions here, but they paint a very specific picture in your mind. 3 people, I'm like, oh, Sangram Vajre, John Ruggie, and Ethan Butte. Okay.
Yep.
And they're in my head, and I'm much more likely to take action, and the more likely, if someone's going to take action, they're going to either do it quickly or it's not going to happen at all. Because if they put it on their to-do list for 2 weeks out, it's going to fall off. Yeah. So I think that's the other piece is give people, we talk about in marketing all the time, think very hard about your call to action. And this is another example of that. Put a number in someone's mind. And even if you're not asking for book reviews or something like that. But
another thing that is a more recent thought of mine is I thought, I'm going through the list, I'm going through my Facebook friends, I'm going to see, okay, who do I have enough relational equity to make this ask? Because this is a significant ask. I'm not just going to ask everybody on our email list to tell 3 friends about it. I don't think that would be very effective because most people on our email list don't really know me. But if you know me, there's a good chance that you'd be willing to do something like this. But a lot of these people that I'm writing down on this list, I haven't talked to in maybe 2 or 3 years. They were an old roommate. There's somebody I worked at a camp with. And so I thought, how can I go about like making it more effective whenever I go to ask somebody because that feels kind of slimy. Like I'm reaching out. I haven't heard from you. You haven't heard from me in 2 years. And now all of a sudden I'm asking you to promote my book. Like, kind of a douchebag move. And so instead I'm thinking about like, okay, Well, the 3 weeks leading up to the book launch, can I text message, a group of those people on a Saturday to just say like, hey, thinking about you, hope you're doing well. And sending out a text message like that, so it's not as out of the blue whenever I text them a few weeks later. Now, part of me thinks like, that's kind of manipulative, but it's also like, it's helping me get a better result. I was going to text message these people anyway. And so I might as well start leading up to that text message where I'm going to ask them to do something with a text message where I'm not asking them for anything. I'm just saying, hey, thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. And it's probably going to end up starting a really good conversations with people that haven't.
That's what I was going to say, man. Like you can look at that and it's all in the execution and what you're actually going to do, because I know you and I know that if you open up that conversation and you end up talking to some old friend and they end up, like, oh, I'm going through this really rough patch or something, or I'm going to be in Orlando in 2 weeks. You're going to meet up with them. You're probably going to take them to the parks if they're in Orlando, or if they need someone to talk to, or if they need, they're looking for a new job, you're going to connect them with someone. So it's not like you just send that out and they're like, oh, and they send you, a paragraph. If you get some of those genuine responses, you're just going to let them fall and then send the promo. Like, that would be another douchebag move. Yeah. But if you can do it in a way that aligns with your personality, like you're doing here, I think that's the difference. So that's kind of what I see there. Because I think you're right. You can kind of manipulatively, try to warm people up for an ask, and people can see right through that too.
Yeah.
Imagine it, a spreadsheet filled with rows and rows of your sales enablement assets. You've devoted 2 years to organizing this masterpiece, only for it to stop making sense. This was Chad Trabucco's reality. As the head of sales enablement at Glint, a LinkedIn company, he's responsible for instilling confidence in his sales reps and arming them with the information they need to do their jobs. However, when his glorious spreadsheet became too complex, he realized he needed a new system. That's when Chad turned to Guru. With Guru, the knowledge you need to do your job finds you. Between Guru's web interface, Slack integration, mobile app, and browser extension, teams can easily search for verified knowledge without leaving their workflow. No more siloed or staled information. Guru acts as your single source of truth. For Chad, this meant Glint sales reps were left feeling more confident doing their jobs. See why leading companies like Glint, Shopify, Spotify, Slack, and more are using Guru for their knowledge management needs. Visit b2bgrowth.getguru.com to start your 30-day free trial and discover how knowledge management can empower your revenue teams.
So I think the big thing here is just be thoughtful. Think about how you would feel if somebody reached out to you out of the blue and asked you to do them a favor that somebody you haven't talked to in a couple of years. So, and think about like, how's the person feeling in their, that you're about to send 4,000 emails to in their inbox. Think about just think about how it feels. Be empathetic. Think about how it feels for them. And it's probably going to change what you end up doing in the execution of, whatever it is you're doing. In this case, obviously a book launch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, man, we're going to wrap today. How can people find the book? So if you're listening to this, you're probably a regular listener of the show. You might be interested. If not, no harm, no foul. We're not gonna twist your arm in the spirit of the conversation today. But James, what would be the best way if folks are interested in content-based networking? They want to pick up the book. Where can they easily find it, man?
Yeah, so Audible, if you listen to audiobooks like you and I do, and you're listening to this show, so you probably do. So just search content-based networking. There's a dash between content and based, or you can just search my name, James Carbary, Carbary, and Audible. You can find the book there, or it's on Amazon. It's 99 cents this week. We're trying to get as many purchases as we can, obviously. And if you buy it before Saturday, you get the ebook version for 99 cents. But there should be hardcover and paperback on Amazon as well. So content-based networking, how to instantly connect with anyone you want to know. Definitely check it out.
Awesome, man. As we talked about in a previous episode, we are actually, launching the book with both the audio and the physical copies. So you can get either on Amazon this week. We'll put links in the show notes if you are interested. Otherwise, if you're listening to this and we're not yet connected on social, look up James and I on LinkedIn. We would love to connect with you. James Carbary and Logan Lyles on LinkedIn. Pretty easy to find. Luckily, we've both got fairly unique names. I think we're the only one of our kinds on LinkedIn. As always, folks, thank you so much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. We totally get it. We publish a ton of content on this podcast, and it can be a lot to keep up with. That's why we've started the B2B Growth Big Three, a no-fluff email that boils down our 3 biggest takeaways from an entire week of episodes. Sign up today at sweetfishmedia.com/big3. That's sweetfishmedia.com/big3.